We are gathered here today to share the importance of Black history. We have worked very hard to put together a program that will honor Black history as well as show how far we have evolved. Out of respect for the participants, please silence your phones and put them away to be fully present for today's program. Sit back and enjoy the show.
I do not know when it began, and I do not know when it will end. For all my life, I have known the rain. All my life, I have known thunder, roiling and rumbling like malicious Middle Passage tides, and hot white lightning cracking the sky like whips. All my life, I have heard the wails of mourning mothers and bellows of bruised brothers and sisters. A choir of souls screeching and crying out for retribution. This cacophony drowns out the ringing of Martin's freedom bells. All my life I have known the rain. No darkness, fear, and anxiety. I know how the rain stings man's eyes and leaves him blind, choosing comfort over reality, ignorance over truth. All my life, I have known vengeful, confused clouds crashing into each other. One purple, one blue, both eternally bruised. All my life, I have known unresolved hatred, unrepaid tears, unending vengeance, unending sacrifice. All I've known is misunderstanding and manipulation, sorrow that never surrenders. I do not know when it began, and I do not know when it will end, but all my life I have known the rain, and all my life I have stared into the sun. What a beauty to behold. Her brilliance bounces off of brooks and ponds, puddles and lakes. Oh, all my life I have stared into the sun, mesmerized by her deep brown eyes and big round nose, her dark big lips, wide smile and outstretched arms. Woo! That sun is a sweet thing. She is a warm embrace in a hot plate. She is extra ham hock in the collard greens and a slice of caramel cake over there on the counter if you still hungry. She's jazz, violent, crackling, and sputtering like kindling against the flame. She is the magical twinkling sound of a grand piano. She is baritone, saxophones, trombones, trumpets, and more. She is the supersonic boombox beating down the whole block. And in her purple and red dying hour, she lights the face of Mama on her porch, telling her babies to be home no later than 8 o'clock. Yeah. Yes, all my life I have stared into the sun, and I have loved her since she first held me in her arms. She's given me a song to sing, a story to write. Because of her, I will never know true darkness. Because of her, I will always have hope. And who am I but the earth? For all I can do is grow. I am the moss whose resilience is enough to break bricks. I am the unbreaking, ever-bending live tree branch. I am the story unfolding, ever-changing and evolving. I am the tale we are all involved in. All I can do is grow. Weary, determined, angry, or apathetic, I do not decide. It is you who plants the seed. Your hands are where my fate resides. I am the earth. The sun is my mother. The rain is my sister. We are sorrow and unforgiven sins. We are joy and jubilation. We are the weary heart, the hopeful mind, and the soul that can never die.
today, Ms. Yolanda Robinson is a 2001 undergraduate of Lee County High School. Upon graduating, Ms. Robinson was accepted into Tennessee State University in Nashville, where she was crowned Miss Tennessee State University in 2004. Ms. Robinson has returned home to Georgia and works in the public relations field as the public relations coordinator of the Lee County School System. We are so fortunate to have you as our guest speaker today, Ms. Yolanda Robinson.
Come on, let's be a choir of one. Help me sing it if you know it. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Y'all know it, come on. Sing a song. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Sing it again. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won. I can almost guarantee you that at the time that James Weldon Johnson penned those words in the year 1900, he wasn't anticipating that he was creating a legacy, that he was making Black history. He wasn't anticipating that 19 years later that the NAACP would take those words and they would coin it as the National Black Anthem. He didn't anticipate that just exhorting what he was going through in the moment would then be history. He would be creating a legacy, something we're still singing today in 2022. But that's how it goes, right? When you're leaving a legacy. What does that word even mean? I went and looked it up, and the actual textbook definition is it's a gift by will, especially of money, or it's something that's transmitted by or received by an ancestor. I like the way my Aunt Jennifer said it best. My Aunt Catherine wrote a book. It talks about the desegregation in Sumter County. And in that book, there it is, Children on the Battlefield of Desegregation in Rural Sumter County, Georgia. It was written by my aunt, and it talks about the experience that she had as she desegregated and others, and I'll talk about that later in the message, how they helped desegregate Union High School. And you can get it, it's on Amazon, shameless plug. and in the book, the foreword is written by another one of my aunts, Jennifer. My Aunt Jennifer said, "We have all known, seen, or heard about those who helped pave the way for others to have a better life. They are the ones who have the belief and faith that a different future exists. If only we are willing to step out and lead the way. They are the ones who are willing to give their all for the people they are leading and the cause they are working to change. They are the ones that are willing to risk everything by going into uncharted territory. They are willing to risk everything by going into uncharted territory." To me, that's the definition of legacy. Going into uncharted territory and paving the way. Now, legacy and history kind of go hand in hand, and you don't have to be outside of Leesburg to make history, to experience legacy. I was talking to Dr. Miller yesterday, and he said to me, he said, "You know what, yo, you didn't have to be in Birmingham or Washington, D.C. during the Civil Rights Movement to see history being made. History was being made right here in Leesburg, Georgia. The Stockade Girls, they were held captive right here in Leesburg, Georgia. If you don't know about it, research it. Martin Luther King Jr. came to visit right here in Leesburg, Georgia. If you don't know about it, research it. Don't depend on someone else solely to give you your history. Go and research it. It's out there for public knowledge. And so all these things were going on, and another part of history that was also happening was the desegregation of schools. You don't have to be a grown-up to start leaving a legacy. Let me tell you about two people who left legacies while they were kids. My grandfather, he didn't graduate from high school like most of you will do. He wasn't lucky enough. He had to drop out of school so that he could help on the farm, so that he could help build what was a legacy to my family land that is still in my family today. Because he sacrificed, he went into uncharted territory to make sure that his children and his children's children would have something, that he could leave them something. And you know what? He met this amazing woman who he married, who was my grandmother Adeline. And together they were a force. They were a powerful force in Sumter County. They were raising their children. He was a pastor, so he was a praying man. And you know what? There was a lot going on. He couldn't vote. They wouldn't let him vote. Every time he went, there was another excuse. There was another reason. Every time he tried to fill out the paperwork, there was yet one more thing that he didn't bring. There was yet one more thing that a hurdle he had to jump over. This is just 2 generations ago. They wouldn't let her sign up, register to vote. But he kept on going because he knew a change would soon come. And so we had children, 6 kids, wonderful kids who are beautiful and have absolutely helped make me who I am. But the oldest of those kids is my dad, Mr. Bobby Robinson Jr. He doesn't let you forget that junior part. Every time you ask him, well, I'm Bobby Robinson Jr. So of the oldest, it was his responsibility. He had a lot on his back, and he was the only boy. And so when it came time to desegregate the schools, a lot of black families, because blacks were going to black-only schools. My mother went to Lee County Training School, which is now our 9th grade campus. Did you know that? Black history. Okay? Now our 9th grade campus, but was an all-black school where my mother attended. So schools were segregated. And when the opportunity came to desegregate schools, a lot of black families weren't really jumping on it because treatment was so bad. They didn't want to offer up their children to be spat on and beaten and rejected. Who wants to do that? Gosh, don't let a parent today have to put their child in harm's way. But you know what? This man was all about risking everything going into uncharted territory. And so when the time came, my grandfather, my grandmother had a conversation and they said, we're going to send the kids. And they sent the kids. They went kicking and screaming, but they sent the kids. Because you know, back in that day, when the adult said something, you didn't question it. And you didn't often understand it, but you won't understand it as a child because you haven't had the experience that adults have to make decisions. And so my father and his sisters went, and they desegregated the school. And in this book, my aunt talks about the experience that they endured, and that every single day was a struggle. Every single day was an issue. Every single day, I don't think, and my father is here, he can check me if I'm wrong. I don't think there was one part of my father's high school experience that he actually enjoyed. Every day was a fight, every day was a battle, every day was being bullied, beaten, kicked on, spat on, I mean, you name it, it happened every day. But they had to go into uncharted territory to realize what would soon come. I can imagine as they would come home, they would talk to their parents, we don't want to go back to that school, why do you make us go, why do you make us go, we don't want to be there, they don't want us there. But yet they would keep going. And because my grandparents were praying people, I can imagine they were pacing the floor night and day, praying. And I can imagine that as they were praying, they were probably singing songs like, "We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe," I can see it, "we shall overcome someday." And they would just keep praying and singing that song every day, realizing that one day it would be different. And so my father kept going day in and day out to that high school that he hated. And in 1969, he ended up being the first black student, alongside one other student, to graduate from Union High School in Leslie, Georgia. Let's give it up. We honor you, sir. We honor you. He stayed the course. He had a horrible high school experience so that his son and his daughter could have a wonderful one. He endured what he endured so that his daughter could be the Student Government Association president. He endured what he endured so that his daughter could be homecoming queen at Lee County High School. He went through all the sacrificing so that I didn't have to sacrifice. That's a legacy. That's what you want to leave behind. Yeah? And so I honor all of those who sacrificed and who gave so that their children could see better, could do better, and could know better. Never forget from whence you came. Never forget from whence you came. And in fact, my Aunt Pam, she recited a poem called "The Negro Mother" by Langston Hughes the other day, and it so inspired me that I wanted to give it to you. "Children, I come back today to tell you a story of the long, dark way that I had to climb, that I had to know, in order that the race might live and grow. Look at my face, dark as the night, yet shining like the sun with love's true light. I am the child they stole from the sand 300 years ago in Africa's land. I am the dark girl who crossed the wide sea, carrying in my body the seed of the free. I am the woman who worked in the field, bringing the cotton and the corn to yield. I am the one who labored as a slave, beaten and mistreated for the work I gave. Children sold away from me. Husband sold too. No safety, no love, no respect was I due. 300 years in the deepest South, but God put a song and a prayer in my mouth. God put a dream like steel in my soul. Now, through my children, I'm reaching the goal. Now, through my children, young and free, I realize the blessings due to me. I couldn't write then, and I couldn't read. I had nothing back there in the night, but I had to keep on. No stopping for me. I was the seed of becoming free. I nourished the dream that nothing could smother. Deep in my breast, the Negro mother. I had only hope then, but now through you, dark ones of today, my dreams must come true. All you dark children in the world out there, remember my sweat, my pain, my despair. Remember my years heavy with sorrow, and make of those years a torch for tomorrow. Remember my years heavy with sorrow, and make of those years a torch for tomorrow. I'll leave you with this. Where's your torch? What difference are you making? What life are you changing? You are Black history. You are history. You are history in the making. Every morning when you rise from your bed and every night when you lay down to sleep, the most important thing on your mind should be your legacy. Thank you.
I've been walking with I've been walking with my face turned to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I had to run. I do what I can when I can, when I can for my people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the river. Can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I can feel it in my bones. Early in the morning, before the sun begins to shine, we're gonna start moving towards that separating line. I'm wading through the waters. You know I gotta make up mine. And I don't mind if I lose any blood on the way to salvation. And I fight with the strength that I got until I die. So I'm gonna stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, far across the
curly or nappy. I love my natural hair, and it makes me unapologetically me, and that makes me feel free. Look at your big lips, big hips, dark skin, thinking you are a queen. But according to society, with that hair, skin, and body, you can't win. But I know the truth, so I continue to embrace my natural roots and transcend. We are constantly forced to standards to fit in, yet when we stand out, there goes the culture vultures with their hands out, biting off our culture and telling us our natural look is unapproachable and not susceptible for corporate America. My natural beauty is powerful beyond measure. I refuse to straighten it, so with your hair, you can do whatever. I love my 4C coarse hair because it is a national treasure. Many have tried to intimidate it, but like my skin tone, it is never duplicated. You can keep your perms and skin bleach. I don't want to see my full lips, culture hairstyles become a trend in your fashion magazines and fashion scenes. You can keep your side eyes when you see my fro. Continue looking crazy when I rock my I am a black queen shirt and turning up your nose. I am beautiful and my melanin is on fleek. Don't hate me because I stand out and my hair is unique. Don't look at me with disgust when I speak. I refuse to be silent or labeled as weak. I decided I will break the mood and take control of my 4C coarse hair because that makes me rare and unapologetically me. I am not my hair.
We would like to acknowledge our superintendent, central office personnel, and school board members for being present today. We would also like to thank our administration staff for allowing this program and the Black History Committee and participants for this assistance in today's program. Lastly, a special thanks to the students from Ms. Lizzie B's visual arts class for the powerful and compelling artwork they've created for today's events. They are extremely talented. We hope you enjoyed our tribute to Black History Month. Thank you. Please remain seated until your row has been called.